Hi everyone, this is Vanessa from Alpas. Welcome back to the Fireplace series. Today, we're going to be adding validation rules to our Create project route. When handling a request, and especially when handling user input like we are here when creating a project, we need to make sure that the incoming data is valid and it's in a format we expect. If it's not, we need to display an error message to the user. And lucky for us, Alpas does all of this out of the box. If we take a look at this form here, let's think about what kind of rules we want to put in place. Well, for a project, I think it makes sense that you need to have both a title and a description. So those should be required. I don't want them to be null or empty. Also, I really don't want people putting just a fake name for a title like P1 or P2. I want them to put the real title. So I'm going to say that title needs to be at least 8 characters long. Since we just talked about a couple different validation rules, it makes sense to use a validation guard in this case to keep our controller clean and also help keep our validation rules organized. Alpas has a command to create a validation guard, so let's use that now. It's just going to be Alpas make guard and then the name, which for us is going to be create project guard. Okay, looks like that worked. Let's check it out. Awesome, you can see here in this to-do that we need to return a list of rules for this guard. Let's look at the Alpas documentation and see if we can use some of the validation rules Alpas supports out of the box. I'll include a link to where you can find these rules, but they're on the Alpas documentation website. So the first thing we said was we need something that was required for a field, and there's one that's even called required. The attribute must be present and the value can't be null or empty. That's perfect. And then right above it is the other one we want, so minimum. The value of the attribute must be greater than or equal to the given length. Perfect, so we're going to use those two. All right, and the first thing we need here is the name of our field. We'll start with title. And then a list of our rules. Well, the ones we just looked at, we want required. And I also want minimum. Okay. Now we're going to do another one for description. And this one's just required. Okay, that looks good. Let's go back to our controller and actually call the validation guard. So we're going to say call dot validate using and the name of our guard. All right, so that should work for that. But actually, while we're in here, let's clean this up a little bit. Since we have a dedicated class now for creating a project, it makes sense to actually move this project creation into our validation guard to keep our controller simple. Let's do that now. So I'm going to cut this from here and add a new function to our guard. I'm going to call it commit, and the return type is going to be project. And then I'm just going to return and paste what we cut from the other class. That looks good. Now let's actually call that from in here. Okay, so now I'm going to save my project and call commit. And then let's move the flash message inside of there as well. Okay, I'm really happy with our store function now. This looks nice and neat. So let's actually run this and see if the validation works. Okay, so if I just submit this like this, empty, we get 2 error messages, which is great. The required field is missing, and it even includes the name of the field, which is nice. If I only provide one of the fields, you'll see that the error went away for description, but it's still there for title. If we have one for both of them, but the title's too short, we get a different error message that says the title must be at least 8 characters long. So that's great. Those validation rules are working. If we actually meet the criteria of our rules, let's see that it creates a project. Awesome, that worked. So our validation rules seem to be working. How did we show those error messages though? Let's go and check that out really quickly. Let's open up the view. So that's going to be projects_new. Okay, so in our view, you can see a couple functions that are giving us a clue what's going on. You can see we've got an if here. has error for title. Then we're going to display something with red font, and it's first error title. And we've got the same thing going on down below for description. So those are actually just built-in Alpas template helpers, and it has several of these that you can use for displaying messages. I'm going to link the official documentation below so you can take a look at some of them when you get time. All right, and that is actually going to do it for this lesson. We successfully added validation to our create route. In the next video, we're going to add the ability to select and view an individual project. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to catch you in the next video.